We went around, first you said how long you been here, but then you got to deep dive. You saw birthdays, you saw where people are actually from. You saw how long people really been here. You had to move around and shapeshift. And that's just what diversity is. You see somebody, but everybody has so much more to their story. It's so much more than what the eye can see. A murder occurred in Minnesota. The murder was of a man that was from Houston. Exactly. Now, these types of things were happening quite a bit, but we were all at home. We had idle time, and with that, the whole world was able to stop and see that video in a way where you really couldn't look away, because it was, I believe, 8 minutes long of a police officer having his knee on his neck, causing him to suffocate and die on video. From that moment, companies and people changed a lot. I never thought Aunt Jemima would change their name, or really just expose who they really are. Pearl Milling Company. I still buy it. It's okay. It's great syrup. But they changed their public brand because of this incident. And now here we are today. If you're paying attention to the news and state laws and things that are changing, there are things happening now that are attacking that term. That term is now a bad word to a lot of people. Why is that? Prejudice. And this is not a right or wrong. This is not a political question. I'm just wondering, why do you think people are threatened by that term?
Scared to see everyone come as one.
Scared to see everybody come as one, because I believe somebody said we're better together. Yeah. Yes, you in the back?
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. They need more trainings. They need call me, and I'll come, and we can talk about it. Anybody else? Why is this a threat?
They don't want to change.
They don't want to change.
I think people don't know what it is.
People don't know what it is.
People are attaching a meaning to it that is not correct.
Mm-hmm.
Or attaching a negative to it.
Yeah. I have friends that work in this space, that work for universities, that have lost their jobs because they were promoting this within their job description. That was what they were hired to do. Some literally overseeing programs at universities that the programs have been in existence long before George Floyd murder, and even long before they probably even worked at that university. And in the last couple of years, there's been an attack and assault on this word through public universities that have caused real people, some that I know, to have to be either fired or terminated or moved to a different department, and abolished not only their job and the program that they were running, but also scholarships that were connected to this term. So now you're saying that kids who apply for a scholarship, that might be a Latino scholarship, an Arab American scholarship, a black scholarship, now you're saying that I can't even get that scholarship because there's no one to administer the program, because they've been removed from their job because of this assault. So here's some like definition terms of DEI. Great answers, all great answers. So can someone, if you can see that, read the diversity one?
Represents and respects the full spectrum of human experiences.
The full spectrum of human experiences. Literally what we just did earlier. We came together, we were in a circle, we did all the fun stuff. Some of y'all was like, all right, my back hurting, you know what I'm saying? I've been standing for too long. But what that allowed us to do is to dive into the full spectrum of human experience. And that's just a brief taste. We could have did eye color. We could have did longest hair. My wife told me, don't you do that. Don't you do that. I said, you right. Let me not do that one. So many things that make us different. So many things that make us different. We in here, we in this room, and everybody is completely different from different places. I didn't even probably get a chance to touch all the different places that everybody was from. And when you think about where you're from, you think about how you were raised. You think about your childhood, how you were brought up. if you are an immigrant and came into this country, you think about the process of you coming over here, the story that exists that most people don't even know, right? That's the full spectrum of human experiences. And to y'all's points about education around DEI, that's what a lot of people are not thinking about when they want to just cancel it. It's like, well, wait a minute. Everybody has a story. Believe America we were all immigrants. At one point, we all came here and created a land that we all live on, the home of the free, land of the brave. I think I might have said that backwards. I don't know. But I love this country, right? No. So when you think about that term, the full spectrum of human experiences, you all have a very unique opportunity to see that full spectrum every day. People walk through the door and you don't know where they're from. And you have to, and your staff, have to give them the utmost respect just because they walk through the door, not knowing their story. So that's why trainings like this are important. Can someone read equity for me?
The notion of being fair and partial as an individual engages within an organization or system.
The notion of being fair and impartial as an individual engages with an organization or system. Thank you. Does someone have a thought when you hear that, when you read that, when you see that? You know, there was great examples of people saying in this room, you know, I applied for front desk and they offered me this. That's equity in its fullness, right? It may have been opportunity, which it is, but it's also equity because there's a difference between equality and equity. Equality is, oh, you know, you got the resume, so I'm going to give you this opportunity. Equality is, let's move that aside. We need you up here, despite what you applied for. That's going beyond the rules that exist to right wrongs and make opportunities exist because just because, without explanation, without it pulling out a rule book and saying, well, you apply for this and this says that and that says this. No, we're doing this right now. That's equity. Inclusion. Can someone read that one for me?
A culture that values unique perspectives and contributions of all employees.
I could have just scratched that one out and put judgment-free zone, right? Because that's what that means, you know. I was washing my hands and I think I saw judgment-free zone all up. I said, I feel good up in here. Then I walked in, me and my wife walked in, they said, hey, y'all want to go to the Black Spa Club? I'm like, I don't even know if I said that right. I said, what's that? I said, hold up. You got to have a black card? I'm like, I ain't got no black card. But I can go up in this spa. You know what I'm saying? I like, maybe y'all got me mistaken for somebody else, but I sure went up in there and got my ankles massaged. What? All of me massaged. I said, what is this? This is great. That's the inclusion, making me feel welcome, judgment free. You know, of course, they probably had that set up, but still, right? Just give me that experience, and that's what people want when they walk into a place like you all's clubs or anywhere else. They want to feel that they belong. Because have you ever walked in somewhere and felt like you didn't belong? You know, I went to school in a small town called Nacogdoches, Texas. Okay? SFA. That was one of my schools. I went to a couple other schools too. But I brought that up because I could be driving to my university when I was younger, in undergrad or what have you, and need to stop at a gas station on my way there. If you don't know, Nacogdoches is the oldest town in Texas. I'll just leave it there, right? So I might drive, and there's certain gas stations I'm not stopping at. Gotta pee, hold it. Hold it. We pull over on the side of the road before we go up in. And because I don't feel like I belong, right? I walk in and I just feel like, do I need to leave? Am I gonna make it out? That's real thinking for some of us, right? And that's the play. That's anti what you want to have here. When people walk, you want to feel good. Want to say their name. Hey, good to see you. I saw you on that squat rack the other day. You was killing it. You know what I'm saying? You want to make them feel good. You know? You don't want to be like, hey, welcome to Planet Fitness. How you doing? Your badge ain't working. Your bill ain't paid. You know, just make me feel. Go somewhere else, man. Give them some grace. So that's diversity, equity, and inclusion by definition. So we're going to kind of dive into each one of them a little bit. So diversity. Diversity describes the demographic differences such as race, gender, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic status, or physical disability. Diversity is much more than visible differences among people, lifestyles, personal characteristics, family composition, education, tenure within the company. We literally touched on some of this just a few minutes ago. That's diversity. I see you, but I don't know everything about you. And how do you get to know people, right? Besides having a conversation. And not only a conversation, but listening. And I think to my question earlier about why is that being under attack, nobody's listening, or somebody ain't listening. Somebody ain't listening to the fact that there are people that are literally dying to get here. Like real people that you can touch and feel, eyeballs, 10 toes, maybe. All of them, people, all across the world, dying to get here. That should say something. We shouldn't be like, get out. We should be making room. I don't know about y'all, but Texas got a lot of trees and a lot of land. We could build a lot more neighborhoods. We got room. Just saying. When you see that,
Traffic is crazy.
I said Texas. I did not say Houston. Okay. That traffic is crazy. That traffic is crazy. That traffic make you change your whole where you live. Traffic make you say, ain't no way I'm living over there and working over here. So when you see this picture, what do you see? Like, what do you see when you see those folks on the screen? Say it louder. What was that?
Oh, I said like not one person that looks the same.
Not one person looks the same.
And younger, older, different cultures, different skin tones.
Every walk of life.
Beautifully said.
Every walk of life. And that's just, 12 people? You see us, you see me, you see you. And that's what it's all about. That's what diversity is all about. Intersectionality. That word is what I would call a DEI word, meaning it's a word that exists in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when you see that word, it literally means every part of who we are. And what I want you to understand and think about is, how different are you? Like, really? It's okay to be different, by the way, but how different are you? I mean, we're talking all these various different pieces that make up who you are. I'm going to read the definition by a lady named Kimberly Crenshaw, who is a diversity leader and thought leader. So intersectionality is a lens through which you can see where power comes and collides, where it locks and intersects. It is the acknowledgement that everyone has their own unique experiences of discrimination and privilege. So, discrimination and privilege. It's not always just one-sided. You can see someone and assume that they have all the privileges in the world when they also have discrimination that they have to face. And then you can feel that you always are discriminated against and forget that you also have power too and privilege too. Us just being in the room is a privilege. I mean, we all at work, right? So you get a check. It's a privilege, right? Like, people be like, my check ain't big enough, but you got a check.
All right.
Right? Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like it's Sunday. Got more blessed. Say that again for the people in the back. Do you mind? Can you say it one more time for me? Right. I used to tell I had a friend who was going through some things, and I told him, hey, why don't you take a moment and write out the things that happened to you this year? Just take a moment, just say, what are some things that was good that happened? And I told him that years ago. He came back I told him that maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and he told me 2 years ago. He said, man, remember that time you told me to write out some things that was going good in my life? Man, I realized how blessed I was. I said, okay, yeah, right, that's the point, because you are blessed. I didn't know what he was going through, but he needed that to really just reignite his life to what he hoped it would be, because it already was what it was supposed to be. He was living in it and not realizing it because he was only thinking about the negative. Somebody with me? Okay.
I got you.
Yeah.
So this is intersectionality. So when you think of different things today as they come up for you that you maybe not have even thought about, like I'm able-bodied, right? Like that is a privilege, right? You don't have to take a wheelchair around. There are people that have to. There are people that have to watch things on captions when they're watching TV or movies or YouTube. If you don't have to do that, that is a privilege, okay? So I want you to take a moment and write 5 characteristics to describe yourself. That's already in there on the top, that little blank spot. You don't have to write out like the stuff on the intersectionality wheel. That's not the same as characteristics. I want you to think about things that people say about you or things you try to exude in yourself. Like you might say, I'm a positive person. Well, you know, somebody just rolled their eyes. Man, I'm a negative person. You know, I don't know. Could say, I'm neat. You know, I keep a neat house. Or, you know, not so neat. You know, whatever those things are for you, I want you to take a moment and write 5 things down that describes who you are. Okay? And if you need some help, ask somebody that know you. They'll tell you. If you don't know, somebody will tell you. You know what? That's why he the OG. Give him a round. Give him some snaps. Give him some snaps. No, give him some snaps. That was deep. You gotta give people snaps when you say something. You know, I like that you said that because in the work I do, I have to teach people that just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean that they have nothing to say or input. We make this assumption that if somebody's quiet, they ain't got nothing to say. No, you need to ask them, what you thinking? Because they thinking. They just might not want to say it. But when you ask them, they might unload on you. Have you ever had that experience? Be like, I thought you was quiet. Super important point. Thank you. I mean, think about it, right? Like, diversity is, oh, yeah, we are different. Yay. Come over here with us. And then you come over there and then nobody's talking to you.
Yeah.
Why'd you invite me? I could have just stayed over there. Like, I was on my phone minding my business. But inclusion is being asked to dance. So when you've been asked to dance, that's intermingling. That's getting to know you. That's asking questions. That's building a relationship, like Ivan was saying. That's going out of your way. Hey, I brought you Starbucks today. And they like, you put poison in there? Like, why you doing this?
Why you being nice?
Why you being nice, right? But it's like, no, I'm trying to include and build a relationship. Take that one with you. If you take a picture or something, write it down, put it in the mental, because we all can do that on accident. The worst thing for some of us is when you do that on accident, you didn't realize that you just made somebody feel excluded by just forgetting that they were there, or you hanging out with your buddies so much that you got your other friend, they just all y'all do is talk about old memories. I don't want to hang out with y'all no more, right? Or a new person, a new colleague, and you just purposefully like, yeah, they got to learn the hard way. Why? Because I did. But that don't make it right. You could skip a lot of their learning curve by just telling them, hey, on Tuesdays, this is how it is, right? Or, yeah, when this person come around, I'll talk to them. You don't got to talk to them versus just letting them suffer, right? So I love that because there's so many ways that happens to us. There's 2 things as leaders that you want to take from what he just said. One is anytime you in a room and you have other people that are reporting to you or that work with you, ask them. The best phrase is, what do you think? And actually listen. Like, don't just say, what do you think, just because we said to say it today. What do you think? And then an even greater thing to tell somebody is, I believe in you. Do you know how good it feels for somebody of leadership to tell you, I believe in you, and they mean it? And you have that power. Back to that intersectionality wheel, the power and all that stuff. You have that power to live it out and to do that going forward. So we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to show a couple things when it comes to equity and equality. So we talked about diversity. We talked about inclusion. Equality is a part of equity, but equality is known because it's been achieved in different parts of our lives. So from the civil rights movement, disabled rights, police brutality that we talked on earlier, all of these are significant progress points that we have made in our history as a country and just really globally, to be honest. You even see the apartheid in South Africa, how that Nelson Mandela, if you don't know who that is, look him up. His story has changed the way that we live and who we can even love globally. Now, equity is a little bit different. I gave an example earlier, but I love this slide because this really puts it in perspective. If you've never seen this slide before, just kind of pause and like just think about it as I kind of explain it. So equality is what we talked about just a second ago. So equality is, all right, so there's been some things done in this country and in this world, so we're going to give everybody the same thing and say that we all are now equal. Well, that's just not true, right? You can say that, but with some people still need more help than others. So equity is in the middle. So equality is, if you're looking, they're watching a soccer game, they say everybody gets a box. All right, everybody stands on this box, and there's the fence that is stopping us from progress, but everybody got a box, so it's all good. No, it's not all good. Because somebody can't see. The person in yellow shorts still can't see. Equity is, okay, I'm going to give that person an extra box because it's true, they can't see. And I'm going to give up some power, some shared power, the guy on the far left, so that the person on the right can now see. So now everybody has opportunity. That's the goal of equity. When you hear equity, it's giving opportunity in somebody, somewhere in the stratosphere, giving up power. I think your leader just literally said that. He can literally tell everybody, this is what I want, no questions asked. But equity is saying, all right, what do you think? And how can you contribute to it so that we all can go forward? Justice is the last part here, where you just take the whole fence down. That's the ultimate goal of equity. So when you see DEI, I personally think this is why people are afraid of DEI. Because ultimately, we need to take some fences all the way down. And instead of taking them down, we're building more.